Okay, hopefully all of my stuff is working. I think it is. Hello everyone, welcome to Archaeogaming Live. Today I'm going to be streaming The Forgotten City, which I do not remember how to play, so we'll see how that goes. Um, Dancing Dinosaurs, hello, thank you for that. So to get us started, the usual preamble. So, Save Ancient Studies Alliance is working to promote the study of the ancient world and engagement with our human deeper pasts, building a grassroots movement through outreach, collaboration, accessibility, and public scholarship. We work toward our goal of inspiring a wide, inclusive community of scholars, learners, and students. Here are all of the places that you can find the organization across just about any online space you can think of. And as per usual, the protocol for watching these live events, please be kind and respectful. Listen and ask thoughtful questions throughout the event. Please be patient with technology and those administering it. As we know, sometimes things go terribly awry, so I will do my best to avoid that, but I also have a terrible internet connection, so apologies in advance. And Sasa Archaeogaming Live is streamed on Twitch, where you are watching potentially right now, and recordings will be posted on the YouTube channel shortly after the event, which perhaps you're watching as I'm saying this later on. And as usual, spoiler alerts. And this, we may not get into a ton of spoilers for this game, but this game does have a lot of spoilers. So be prepared, be aware of that. Um, Apologies in advance if we end up with too many of those. So let me get things organized in a way that makes sense. Okay. So again, it's been a very long time. I've never played this on a keyboard and mouse, but I'm going to attempt it. Um, Additionally, I'm not going to be on camera today because I am feeling a little bit under the weather, so apologies in advance for that as well. But we're going to go ahead and start a new game.
Hey, you're alive. When I dragged you out of the river, I thought you were never gonna wake up. I checked your pockets for ID, a phone, maybe. I hope you don't mind. But all I found was some loose change. So, wanna tell me who you are?
Okay, so now I'm going to get to select who I am. I also need to move just a couple of things around so that I can still easily see the chat. Okay. Alright, so who am I going to be? There's not a lot to see here. It's basically just a change in hands, but we'll go with this. And probably don't want to be named player. I I don't know. Kyle's the first name that popped into mind, so that's going to be a weird name for the setting. Obviously, we're starting in kind of a modern setting. This character that we're speaking to is fairly recognizable just in terms of clothing, but things are going to get very embedded in history shortly. So we're just going to save.
Well, it's nice to meet you. And I'm sorry to pry, but any idea why you were floating down the river? What's the last thing you remember?
Okay, so do I remember anything about my background? So I can be an archaeologist. Um, I can be a soldier, I can be a fugitive, or I can have amnesia. So, these give me different kinds of perks. Possible to increase the game volume. Yes? Maybe. I think I have to select my stuff first. I will try to increase the volume here. The problem was on my end, it's incredibly loud, so I had turned it down, but I can increase it momentarily. Okay, so searching for ancient ruins. Years of studying history give you occasional insights into the ancient world. That's probably most useful for our purposes, so that we can kind of explore history in a more direct way. I don't think I want to have a firearm, because that seems I've seen that. It does do some things during gameplay, but I don't know that I want to do that. I don't think I care about being faster. And this seems kind of messed up. I'm just gonna go with archaeologist for our purposes.
Oh, you're an archaeologist? Then you'll definitely want to hear this. I don't know if it's exactly what you're looking for, but there are some ruins just behind you. Roman, I think. I need you to go in there and see if you can find a guy named Al for me. He went in there a few hours ago, and he hasn't come out. I've been freaking out, wondering if he's trapped or injured, or worse. I would have gone in after him, but he made me promise to stay here, no matter what. There's no way I'm leaving without him, so I'm just kind of stuck here, waiting. What I mean is, I was hoping you wouldn't mind going in there to find him? If you can do that, I can get both of you back to civilization in my boat. Please?
Okay. I'm not gonna be able to increase the volume as long as I have these speech options. Okay. Sorry. I'm gonna do my best. I've increased it on the OBS end of this, but I don't know that that makes a difference. But yes, as soon as I can, I will pull that up and fix it.
Oh, of course. Sorry, I don't mean to be pushy. I just... What do you want to know?
Probably, okay, so I've just woken up. Oh, okay, cool. So OBS fixed it a little bit. I'll still try to get to the menu and increase it a little bit more. But hopefully for now it's okay. I could bump it a little bit more, actually. Let's see. We'll just see what happens. Alright. So I think the first thing I would probably ask if I'm not remembering what was going on is probably, where are we?
You really don't remember? We're in Italy. This river is the Tiber.
Okay. Now I have a new question I could ask. I'll ask about Al, because I don't know what's going on or why I need to find this guy.
He's the guy who washed up on the riverbank not long before you did. I thought maybe you two knew each other. I guess not. But maybe the two of you can piece together what you're doing here. In any case, you'll like him, I'm sure. Once you find him, that is.
Okay, so I'll probably ask who this person is. Like, I don't think that if I woke up on a riverbed, my first questions would be related to my job, so I'll ask about her.
Oh, there's not much to tell. Feels like I've spent my whole life in a dead-end job with an endless commute. Know what I mean?
That's a very funny answer once you get the spoiler for who this character is.
Oh, I'd rather not say if it's all the same to you.
Yeah, I'd really like to know. I think that that's a reasonable thing to say.
All right, fine. Sorry if I sounded cagey, it's just that I don't always get the best reactions when I introduce myself. My name's Karen.
I'll be nice, and instead of talking about memes, I will thank her for saving me.
You're welcome. Always happy to help. Was there anything else you wanted to ask?
Okay, I'm gonna ask about the ruins now.
Not much, really. But imagine what you might find in there. Priceless ancient artifacts.
really concerned about Al. Alright. So have you tried calling for help? This is a little weird. We're just on a riverbed. 2 people have washed up unconscious, which seems a bit odd.
What am I, an idiot? You could hike a long, long way in any direction and never find another soul. Trust me.
Okay, so that's all my questions.
Great. So you're ready to go look for Al?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know how you respond to something like this. Like, you're injured and waking up and not knowing where you're at. But yeah, sure. We'll go look for Al.
Thank you. The entrance is just past those columns behind you. Please, hurry. Oh, and he left this here. But I think you'll need it more than I will.
Flashlight. Okay. So now I get to relearn how to play this game. I'm also gonna go to the settings. Let me know how the audio is after I mess with this. The default was 80. I'm gonna turn it to 72. We'll see what happens. Okay. Tell me if it's too loud. Whoa, that was a little laggy. Oh, goodness. Okay. Should have had a warning for lagginess. I don't remember if there's anything to explore out here, necessarily. But we also don't have that much time for streaming this game, so... we're in a kind of spooky cave. Let me just run after I've been injured and am having memory problems. That's a backpack. Yep, that's certainly a backpack. Okay.
If you're reading this, it means I've discovered the entrance to an ancient Roman city hidden deep underground. Its existence is long forgotten, all knowledge of it lost, except in the Latin inscription here. It reads, "You who wish to enter the city, step forth and be judged. The virtuous shall be rewarded with eternal life in paradise. The wicked shall find themselves showered in gold, but in vain, for this shall be their final resting place." Could an underground city have remained a secret for all this time? Could people have survived down there, against the odds? It seems there's only one way to find out. If I'm not back in an hour, I'm somewhere on the other side. Consider this an invitation, or a warning. Al Worth.
Okay. I was told, yet again, that the sound was... Alright, so I'll turn it back down to 50. 48's close enough. Okay. Yes. Alright, so hopefully that's fine. Let me know if there are any issues. Alright, so we have, in this cave, inexplicably, just like this little temple entrance, it appears to be, whoa, an ancient Roman temple. Oh no! Trapped. It's dropping me right into the water. No warning. Alright. So, I found a secret entrance. It's a little laggy. Sorry if it's weird. We've got a bunch of figures that appear to be made of gold. And they have sort of unnatural poses, which makes sense once you know what's going on here. So we have more of this temple. flashlight's a little tricky to work with. So every one of these figures looks a little strange, not quite the kinds of statues. Yeah, they're a bit unsettling. It's not quite what we would expect from like a historical statue or carved figure. It's unnatural in exactly an unsettling kind of way. Like, they look kind of fearful, they look like something horrible has happened, they look like they were trying to stop something, which, again, makes sense once you know what's going on. But this is another one of those games that has a lot of historical elements, and mostly we see this in the architecture, we see this in figures that we encounter, but it has been modernized in a number of ways. So we'll talk about that a little bit more. Additionally, I do want to note that the developers did consult with historians quite a bit on this, and so there is a lot of attention to detail when it comes to the historical elements. So now we have a golden statue that we can inspect and sort of check out. We see this seemingly running figure. Where this figure is makes absolutely no sense. Like the other ones, they're on pillars. They might look a bit strange, but it makes sense that they're displayed in such a way. There's no one here, which is sort of interesting. But this is just a Roman soldier who's running in the middle of a hallway. Very odd. So let's inspect. So a Roman gladiator mid-stride. What could have made them flee? Very intricate building. Again, more of these figures. I can inspect this one as well. Young Roman woman, looks as though she was begging for her life. So we have it pointing out how odd a lot of these statues are. Again, a lot of looking very fearful, surprised, caught off guard perhaps. I don't know if I can examine this one, I can't. Only the ones in the hallway. Quick save. Okay. Now this is definitely an unnatural looking statue. So, a Roman military commander attempting to scramble away from something. I knocked him over, sorry. Roman legionary in a state of terror. So a lot of odd things happening here. It's also interesting that all the fires are still burning in this underground ancient city. Things are crumbling, things are in disarray. I cannot examine this guy, but he looks like he was not having a good time. Yeah. Oh, I can inspect this one. She's looking up at something. Roman woman who appears to be praying for help that never came. I don't think, my character is an archaeologist. I feel like I would be doing this a bit differently. This is concerning. This must be Al, so we've got a character in modern clothing. Terrible things have happened to him.
To whoever reads this, I'm sorry you had to find me like this. And worse, you'll suffer the same fate I did. I've spent a lifetime in this place, going around and around in circles, searching for a way out. The inscription was right. There is no way back. And here there are only two options. Death, or that godforsaken doorway into the past. I made the mistake of stepping through it. I wanted to set things right. And I tried. I really tried. Whatever I did, it took me right back to the beginning. Don't make the same mistake. Better to end it all now. And find out what awaits you beyond that portal.
got you in a state of panic. I knocked her over, I think. Whoops. She is mostly upright. It's fine. So the doorway is over here. We have to continue on through these ancient ruins. Someone potentially begging the gods for mercy. And here we go. Got a spooky whispering voice telling us that we're close. To what? Apparently this is going to take a moment to load. Okay, so we find ourselves in a temple, but things look quite a bit different now. A lot of the architecture looks somewhat familiar, but much more intact. We actually are not fully encased in a cave anymore. We have the sky, and we have someone here to greet us.
Salve, friend. I'm Galerius. Mind telling me who you are and what you were doing in the Shrine of Proserpina?
Yeah, it was a very long loading screen. So, we have an interesting situation here. We have encountered a character who's obviously speaking English, and in a very accessible way. So we talked about reception studies before. This is one of those things that's making it so that this is an understandable and sort of attainable gaming experience. But we have Galerius here, who is greeting us and letting us know a little bit more context. And yeah, so I chose a name that makes absolutely no sense for any of this and will probably confuse a lot of the people that I encounter. So I can ask some questions here. I do think it's interesting that I'm asking, yeah, why are you speaking English? I'm in Italy. I haven't spoken to you yet, and you are automatically greeting me in a language that I understand, so I think I'll ask that first.
What? I'm speaking Latin. You are too, although your accent's a little strange. Oh, I see what you did there. Changing the subject like that. Nice try. But I'll ask again. Who are you, and what were you doing in the shrine?
So, curious about the shrine. And yeah, magic. So, what is this shrine? I would be curious about, although I am an archaeologist, so I would probably have some sense of something here, but let's ask.
Yeah, you know, agricultural goddess of springtime? You're not from around here, are you? And you've just done it again. You're a sly one, aren't you? One more time. Who are you, and what were you doing in that shrine?
So, I won't lie, and I don't honestly know why my character knows that I've traveled into the past. I guess I'm just taking Al's words at face value. But yes, I'm Kyle, I've come from the future.
No idea what you're talking about. Oh, wait. Are you a bit, not right in the head? That's alright, friend. Everyone's welcome here.
At least he's friendly. So yeah, I'll ask what the date is.
We sort of lose track of the date down here, but it feels like the beginning of spring to me, so I'd say early March?
Yeah. What year?
It's 817 AUC. Sorry, you look confused. 817 years since the founding of Rome. which part of the Empire are you from exactly?
Okay, so we are locating ourselves historically. So this is in around 65 sort of common era. That's what CE is. So I'm going to use my archaeologist insight.
CE? No idea what you're talking about. But listen, most folks seem a bit confused when they get here, but you seem very lost, and in more ways than one. So let me make this nice and simple for you. Live by our law here, and we'll all get along just fine.
So that's an interesting thing to let me know. So I have some more context. It appears to be the ancient past. My character, for some reason, not falling apart at this revelation. But yes, let me ask about the laws.
Not laws, law. There's just one, the golden rule. And the punishment for breaking it's... well, it's kind of horrific. But our magistrate insists we take all newcomers to see him, so I guess I'll let him fill you in. So then, are you coming?
And then, yeah, I will go with Galerius. I am in the past, I'm in a confusing place, things are very strange, so yes, lead the way.
Follow me. When I first arrived, I couldn't believe there were people living down here. But, as you can see, we've got a nice little community now. Only 23 of us at the moment, if you count the 3 who are missing. No idea how, since nobody knows a way out. But it's just big and dark enough to get lost in, if you're not careful.
Aren't you going to introduce me to your handsome new friend, Galerius?
Keep it in your loincloth, Aurelia. I'm taking him to see the magistrate.
That pompous old bore won't be magistrate for much longer. Anyone who helps vote him out today drinks at my bar for free tonight.
And yes, Galerius is very
Politics.
friendly.
I'd stay clear of it and her if I were you. She's... it's not my place to say. Down on your right is our farm, where I grow all the food you'll ever want. As long as all you want is leek, cabbage, and wheat.
Sounds good to me.
Huh. That one usually gets a chuckle.
The bloodless shadows wander without flesh or bone.
Don't mind Livia. She means well. She's just been in a bad place since... well, you know, I don't know what happened to her.
Don't steal anything, don't hurt anyone, don't. Whoever wrote this didn't get a chance to finish. I could have explored a few other things, but I'm gonna go.
Up here on your right is the chasm. If you've got a weapon, it belongs way down at the bottom. Up on your left is the forum, where you can visit the market or get yourself patched up in Lucretia's clinic in the Shrine of Apollo. Most of us have almost nothing, just what we had on us when we arrived, and what we've been able to make and scrounge up since. And this central plateau is where the magistrate and the other patricians live, so don't expect a warm welcome.
Hilarious. You're meant to be working the farm, not trudging dirt into the villas.
Take it easy, Horatius. I was just taking our new friend here to see the magistrate.
Well, he's asked me to escort the newcomer personally. The farm. Go. Now.
You'd better go with him. But just remember, they're not like you and me. Don't let them use you.
What was that? What did you just say?
I said it'll take some getting used to.
Yeah, I'm watching you, farm boy. Greetings, citizen. My name's Horatius. Magistrate Sentius asked me to escort you to him personally. Follow me, please.
It's interesting they're referring to me as citizen. Citizenship was a big part of Roman society and life, and I would probably not be labeled that. So this is a pretty intense assumption. I probably want to know what this is about, so like, why am I following you? Why do I have to see the magistrate? I know that Galerius kind of told me, but...
I expect the magistrate wants to brief you about the Golden Rule. It shouldn't take too long. He's busy preparing for the election later today.
Okay.
Follow me.
I will be...
The only thing you really need to understand right now is the Golden Rule. Let me see if I can explain it this way. When I was serving in the Legion, if there was a mutiny brewing in one cohort, the legate in charge wouldn't waste time finding the bad apples among hundreds. They just divided us into groups of 10. made us draw straws, and whoever drew the short straw had to be executed by the other 9. Didn't matter whether he'd done anything wrong. One of us in 10 would die for the crimes of the collective. We call it decimation. If that seems like rough justice to you, you're in for a rude shock. Because the Golden Rule is exactly 10 times worse. The magistrate can explain the rest. He's up these stairs.
So historically, that is actually accurate. This idea of decimation, this was commonly used by the Romans as a form of punishment. So even if you did not commit a crime, if someone else in your group did, you would end up potentially paying for it as well. Alright, so here's the magistrate. Just kind of hanging out on this balcony. We can overlook some of this architecture. No longer crumbling, intact. We have a lot of the stonework that is very accurate to what we would see in sort of a historical Roman context.
We're finally alone. I assume you already know who I am. May I know your name?
I'm Kyle.
A curious name to match a curious accent. But I digress. I see you have the piercing and astute eyes of a man of great learning. We're always happy to welcome another scholar to our little community. Equitia will be delighted to meet you, I'm sure. Now, you're probably wondering why I summoned you, and I'll get to that. But first, take a look at this wondrous place, would you? A secret city built deep in the mountains many hundreds of years ago.
And yeah, like this Roman armor that we have going on. Yeah, it's very, very cool, very interesting. We'll see a lot of different clothing that people are adorned with. So this is a magistrate, this is someone who is of a higher social class, and social class was a big thing in Roman society. So he has a lot of adornments that are a lot fancier. We see this breastplate, as you put it in the chat. We see also this fabric kind of cloaking this character, adornments with different metal pieces. So let's see. I'll just be nice. I guess this is a beautiful place, even though it's very strange that I'm here and I don't fully understand what's going on.
Indeed. More importantly, consider the miraculous community we've built here over the last 7 months. 22 complete strangers brought together by the fates, living and working together in our own little paradise. And in all that time, not a single sin has been committed. No fights, no theft, nothing. Have you ever witnessed something so extraordinary as a city without sin?
And yes, I'm doing my best to be a nice character so far. So no, I've never lived in a place with absolutely no crime, so can't say I have.
Nor could I until I came here. But the reason for this miracle is as simple as it is terrifying. If even one person commits a sin here, every last one of us will die. You see, the builders of this place, whoever they were, left inscriptions warning, "The many shall suffer for the sins of the one." From what we can gather, breaking the law here will anger the gods and provoke a terrible punishment. Like the curses of Medusa and Midas combined, turning us all to gold. We've come to call it the Golden Rule. It's extraordinary that we've survived as long as we have, and each day I grow more and more afraid that our time in the sun is almost up. And now it seems that day is finally here. All that matters is that somebody in this city is about to break the Golden Rule. Why else would Proserpina send you now? Unless you and I can stop them, our doom is assured. I know that's a lot to take in, and you look like you have questions. Please, ask away.
So we have some interesting things going on here. We have references to gods and goddesses, sort of from the Roman pantheon. So things are familiar in a lot of ways. We see familiar historical clothing, architecture, but also mythology and religion. So I probably would have some questions. I'm going to start with asking about what did you mean by I was sent here by a goddess?
You see, in my search for a way to save my people, I learned of an ancient ritual to Proserpina, the goddess of the cycle of life and renewal. It's said to open a doorway in time so that if the unthinkable happens, one person can pass through it and travel back to the past. And when I saw you arrive in a flash of light from the goddess's shrine, I knew that person was you. You don't belong in our time, do you?
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like lying probably falls under the golden rule kind of umbrella. That's probably not a good thing to do. So, yes, you're right. I am from the far future.
2,000 years? That is unfathomable. Please, tell me, in your time, what did you see? What had become of us? Of this city?
Yeah, I have seen the future. I walked by a bunch of statues that looked terrified. But it's interesting because the statues are also in here, so I would imagine that he has some sense that this is a thing that happened, but...
I have imagined it, our downfall, 1,000 times. But it still breaks my heart to hear the truth of it.
Okay, so... So what counts? Like, what does the rule encompass?
An intelligent question. There was a good deal of debate about that in our first weeks here. Does it refer to crimes, or to some other ill-defined wrong? Of course, everyone agrees on the basics. No theft, no assault, and certainly no murder. But beyond that, it was more difficult to reach a consensus. What about lying, insulting someone, blasphemy, trespass, trying to escape, bribery, infidelity, suicide? As magistrate, I had to exercise leadership, and so I made a decision. We must uphold the laws of the Empire to a standard never before seen. And we must honor the peace of the gods, the sacred accord between the gods and the people of Rome. It is only by offering the gods the proper respect that we may prosper, as Rome has for centuries.
Oh, do I call them out on their ancient laws? Sure. So we have some cultural relativism happening here. We have the magistrate telling us that a lot of how they've decided to live their lives, how they've decided to try to navigate this constant threat of the Golden Rule and potentially angering the gods, this is the best way to live. However, we know that a lot of the laws and a lot of the ways that Roman society was structured are not something that we continue to follow. Like, so for example, various things involving inequalities, involving slavery, involving laws about harm to others. These are things that culturally, in different cultures, different time periods, we don't really continue on with, although it's a lot more nuanced than that. So I'm going to go ahead and question it as my archaeologist character. I know I've been trying to not push any buttons so far, but so to speak, but
Barbaric? Barbaric? What are you talking about? The Empire is the most civilizing force in the known world. Rome is a beacon of light in the darkness. For 800 years she has borne great statesmen, philosophers, poets, artists, and engineers. We have comprehensive laws protecting the rights of our citizens, which have unified countless warring tribes all across the Mediterranean and beyond, from Gallia to Judea. All our citizens are treated the same, regardless of the color of their skin or their sexual preference. Can you say the same? When our people are starving, they are given food rations, and when they are wronged, they have the right to bring the guilty party before the magistrate. Our laws forbid treason, murder, assault, and rape, as well as theft and arson, and so on. No other civilization in the world is so advanced, and you have the hubris to call us barbaric?
Okay, so here's where I can ask some very pointed questions about Roman law. But yes, in the chat, yes, he's got a point. But let's see, what do I want to ask about? How about the collective punishment thing? We'll start there.
Are you talking about our practice of decimation? Of course. We could hardly unite all these warring tribes without a disciplined, formidable legion.
I'll say this is considered abhorrent, maybe? Or I guess I could ask the other ones first. What about slave ownership? This is fairly complicated historically, but I'll ask.
Of course. What else would we do with those prisoners of war who would otherwise have been executed? And besides, there are laws for their protection as well.
Alright, so what about blood sport?
On occasion. But our gladiators are almost all volunteers seeking glory, or condemned prisoners who would have been executed anyway. I do not see the harm.
So we have a lot of kind of justification for this. This is being done to avoid execution. Seemingly, this is sort of the better way to deal with this. Comparatively, this is a better life. Well, okay, so what about gender inequality?
Of course, but with fewer rights come fewer responsibilities, and the right to be protected by their fathers and husbands.
As essentially property. So how about persecution?
You mean the blasphemous cult responsible for burning down half of Rome last year? It's hard to blame the people for being angry about that.
So we have a lot of hand-waving justification, and yes, in the chat I see an eye roll. So I'm going to say, well, where I'm from, these things are considered abhorrent.
Well, right now, you're a long, long way from home. I have made my pronouncement on the subject. Unfortunately, there are still those here who resist, whispering blasphemous and treasonous lies in the shadows. I would be keeping a close eye on them if I were you.
Okay, so I would probably be curious about this ritual. I think as an archaeologist I would be open to the possibility, since I seemingly have been transported into the past.
All I can tell you is that it's a ritual sacrifice to Proserpina. I stumbled across instructions. I have to recite a prayer, and of course, as with all rituals, some sacrifice is involved. Usually that means wine or food, or in some cases a live animal. In this case, the sacrifice is rather more costly. The life of the person performing the ritual. I don't suppose you saw any sign of me in the future?
Here's where time travel gets complicated. So I saw human remains.
I assume that was me. If I'm forced to perform the ritual, it's going to cost me everything. You'll try to make sure I don't need to use it, won't you?
And yes, in the chat, yeah, we get a ton of information about Roman society, sort of the Roman perspective on things, including law, including kind of social standing. We'll see a lot more of that as well as we get into the game more. We're not even going to scratch the surface of this game in the first couple of hours. But alright, so I will continue being Kyle, who is nice and is trying to just work with people aside from poking at some of these logics that I'm being presented with, so I will say I will do my best.
Well, I suppose that's all I can ask for.
Okay. So why can't you investigate what's going on? Why do I need to be helping you figure out who is going to be breaking the golden rule, why this is happening?
Well, I believe you're in the best position to go around asking people questions. You're new here, and it'll seem perfectly normal. As for me, well, it pains me to say my attempts to impose order have not earned me many friends. I fear I may not even remain magistrate after today's election. The people here would only treat my curiosity with suspicion. You shouldn't have that problem, though, unless, of course, you get off on the wrong foot.
Bit of a warning to me. I need to be careful about how I interact with people. Any suspects? This would help me in my role as an investigator for some reason.
Do you ever stare at a problem for so long that you can't see it for what it is anymore? What's needed here is a fresh pair of eyes. The less I prejudice the independence of your investigation, the better.
Okay, so... I guess I could, like, how do I know it's not you?
Me? Why would you suspect me? I've just told you, I'm about to sacrifice my own life to ensure these people have a second chance. What reason could you possibly have to suspect me, of all people? I'm glad you think so. Without trust, without each other, we won't be able to prevent what is about to happen.
Do I want to be a jerk? I'll be a jerk.
Well, all right. There are those who wish to vote me out of office so that they can pursue their own misguided political agenda. Frankly, their selfishness and recklessness risk destabilizing the entire city. I would be looking very carefully at them if I were you.
Okay. And I probably would be curious if I can go back to my own time, so, like, do I get assistance of some kind?
If I understand Proserpina's ritual correctly, that problem should take care of itself. Let me see if I can explain. If you manage to prevent the sin that breaks the Golden Rule, I won't need to bring you here. I won't create the portal, and you will never have been able to come here. Thus, you'll have created a paradox. If this occurs, you should be flung back to your own time, having changed the past for all of us. Make sense?
This Roman magistrate has a really good grasp on time travel. Sure, why not? Okay, that's everything.
Good. So, are you with me? Can I count on you to figure out who's about to break the Golden Rule? Wonderful.
Just be nice.
Now, I need you to investigate the city, talk to everyone, help them if it'll win their trust. I authorize you to enter private homes and inspect possessions and documents, unless, of course, you're asked to leave. Figure out who the culprit is, and as soon as you have a name, come back and tell me immediately.
Okay.
Oh, and one last thing. If I were you, I'd start my investigation by visiting Lucretia at the Shrine of Apollo in the Forum. I heard wailing from there not long ago. Seems like something's not right.
Okay. I will simply agree and get to work. He did give me permission to just look around.
If you're snooping around in my possessions, you're wasting your time.
Oh, you're rude. I want to snoop your possessions. Snoop. Snoop to snoop.
Ugh, I wish Horatius would stop letting barbarians in here. What do you want?
And what was Kyle in the chat? Did I do this? Is it my fault? Alright, so... I'll just, yeah, who are you?
I'm Sentia, eldest daughter of the magistrate. But you'd know that if you'd been invited in here and introduced properly. What are you doing in here? And why are you dressed like that?
Not from around here.
Really? I'd never have noticed, what with your flawless accent, appropriate attire, and impressive mastery of our customs. Now,
Well,
remind
thanks,
me,
Rude.
why are we having this conversation?
Can I get out?
Ugh, what is it with you people? You heard the rumor that my little sister escaped and figure I must know a way out too. Is that it? Well, that's just a stupid rumor. We have no idea what happened to Scintilla. I wish you mouth breathers would just leave me alone.
Can I help? I'll be nice Kyle.
I don't know. Can you? Can you tell me how a person could have disappeared from a city with no exits and no crime? Was she snatched away by the harpies?
Yeah, that's another one of those things with, like, I mentioned, reception studies. This is the magical localization. So we, again, are having conversations that feel very approachable, very graspable. We understand the way that they're talking, and we've already been given some information that technically we're speaking Latin, we have a weird accent, but everyone is speaking the same language here. And yet everything sounds like English to us. So that is the magical localization going on, I think, in our character's own head to make this more accessible. And again, we see this a lot with understanding historical information, historical interactions. It's translated to something that we feel more comfortable with, that we feel is more recognizable or understandable, because if this was wholly historically accurate, including with insults, we probably wouldn't really know what's going on. So, I'll ask about the sister. When did you see her? What's going on here?
It was 3 weeks ago. We ate our evening meal together, and I remember she seemed happy. In love. We went into our rooms, I went to sleep, and when I woke up, she was gone. That's it.
So, you mentioned in love. Was she seeing someone?
I think so, yes. But she was very careful about keeping his identity a secret, even from me.
I guess I could ask why. I don't know that that would be easily attainable knowledge if someone didn't tell you. She's looking at me very questioningly.
Because our father had plans to marry her off, eventually, and even a rumor about her attachment to some mystery man might have ruined those plans.
So the magistrate didn't say any of this was happening.
That doesn't surprise me. To him, it was like a prize cow wandering off from its paddock. He's upset, of course, but he says he's too busy with the election to help look for her, so he's letting Horatius do the heavy lifting. Some good that's done.
Is it possible that the lover was involved? I mean, and this is a good question. If the golden rule is actually a thing, if something nefarious happened, shouldn't everyone have been turned to gold? But let's ask.
I don't know, but it's been 3 weeks since she disappeared, and he hasn't come forward. That might speak to a guilty conscience. All I know is, whoever he is, he's still here in the city.
Yeah, why are your names so similar? Let's get a little bit more information.
You really aren't from here, are you? All Roman women are named after their fathers. I think it's their way of branding us, like cattle to be sold at market. His family name is Sentius, so I'm Sentia because I'm the eldest, and my little sister is formerly Sentia Minor, but she's affectionately known as Scintilla.
Seems totally fine, given the conversation that we just had about the laws. So you look relaxed about your sister's appearance. What's going on there?
I hope you're not insinuating I'm somehow pleased with her disappearance.
Can I bluff? Is bluffing gonna break the golden rule? Let's see.
Ugh, you're awful. Get out of my villa and never speak to me again.
Okay, well, that didn't go super well.
Keep an eye out for Scintilla, would you?
I could talk to him, but I only have a few minutes left, so let's do a little bit of exploration. We've got a guy doing push-ups out here. stranger. Talk.
What were you two talking about?
What to?
Don't play dumb. I saw you. Having a shady little chat with old man Sentius up on his balcony. What's he offering you? Money? Favours? What's your vote worth to him?
I see in the chat asking about what Kyle's family name would be. So is this if Kyle had daughters in ancient Rome, just based on that naming convention? Yeah, and this is certainly a helmet choice. I guess it would be like, oh no, I don't know, it would be something probably like Kylia? Something like that. Doesn't actually sound that bad. Kylia. Kylitia? Yeah, maybe. Could be worse. Kylitia Minor. Alright. We weren't talking about the election. I guess he wasn't trying to buy my vote. I would think that would fall under the golden rule too, but sure.
What? You're throwing your lot in with him for free then? That's even worse.
Okay, bribery is
Mark my
fine
words, Malleolus is gonna be magistrate by the end of the day. And if I tell him you've sided with that feeble old has-been, that you've been trying to undermine his hard-won victory, you'll have picked the wrong patron. Got it?
I'm not gonna be a jerk. I don't care about the election. I have absolutely no idea what's going on. I just got here.
Good. Then stay out of it. Nobody likes Caput Murday foreigners interfering in an election.
So we have a little bit of Latin going on here that I could probably guess at what it means, but I don't want to guess and get it wrong. I could ask some questions. Are you gonna? You're very aggressive.
Can't hurt.
So what's your story?
The name's Domitius. You want to get to Malleolus, you go through me.
And yeah, they didn't localize that. Maybe it's... that one, I think, could be directly translated. I do not speak Latin, but I have some understanding of sort of Latin-derived languages. But they didn't localize that one. So it's keeping a little bit of information that is specific historically and language-wise. Oh, thank you for the sub. Awesome. Very much appreciated. So we do see some interesting things going on with the localization versus not localizing, keeping some of this historical information, while also still making most of this accessible and attainable for us, but maybe piquing our interest a little bit at what that insult might mean. I was gonna say something else, and then I got distracted. So, we now know who this stranger is. I probably would want to meet this person that he just randomly is bringing
Too
up.
bad. He's busy. Unless... No. You don't look like you could afford it.
Let me just drag one of those golden statues over here.
I'm glad you asked. See, he's a busy man, and this is an important day. He'll be inside practicing his victory speech for tonight. Left me strict instructions he doesn't want to be disturbed. So if you want to see him, I'll need something valuable in return.
And see, yeah, this is my question. Like, what? Oh, yeah. Okay, so, like, that was one thing I was gonna say. So in the chat, we have a note about leaving things that are translated from Japanese, like leaving senpai in. It could also, and again, it is directly translatable, but it could be something like entrepreneur. Like, we have some, running amok. We have some words that we have borrowed from other languages that don't really have a direct translation in English. So it could be something like that as well, where the magical localization is just leaving these things as is. I want to know about the bribes, because that seems like something that should be bad.
Bribe? That's such an ugly word. What I'm looking for is more of a tribute to me, your soon-to-be patron.
Okay, so I'll see what I can do, maybe? Or I guess I should ask what he wants first.
Dunno. Something good.
Okay.
Just make it good.
Do you know a way out of here? I'm just gonna keep asking everyone.
When Malleolus wins the election, yeah? This place will change. You won't even want to leave. You'll see.
Alright, so what do you think about the Golden Rule?
I think it's gone on long enough. And Malleolus is going to put an end to it once he's elected.
That sounds like something that may not be great.
He's going to announce it in his victory speech. Just you wait and see.
Okay, why can't you tell me now?
'Cause if I tell you, and it gets out, it'll give old man Sentius a chance to interfere in our plans. And we can't have that.
Alright, I'm not sure. I just got here, things are really weird.
Old man Sentius got you already, did he? Well, I'm not talking to people in his faction. Confituare.
Okay. Technically, the stream time is up, but we'll take a look around a little bit more. We have someone whispering to us. Who's this? Oh. We'll just do a little bit.
Name's Rufius. Better watch your step.
Alright, so, Rufius, what's up with you?
Can't talk long. Got to stay sharp, but... family's from Solution on Tigris. Babylon province. But I've been roaming a long time now. Even joined the legions. The 6th. The one they call Ironclads.
So, yeah, why are you still in the armor? It seems a little bit strange. I could I'll adjust the schedule. I'll do more streaming beyond just the next stream that I was planning. Why are you wearing your armor? This is a place where there's not supposed to be any sin. Presumably there's not supposed to be any fighting.
Because we're all in grave danger. Is it not obvious?
How did you end up here?
Same way as everyone else.
Okay, not really an answer. Not much of a talker, huh?
If you were dealing with what I am, you wouldn't be either.
What are you dealing
None
with?
of your business. In 20 years I'm coming
We have more Latin. So why don't you have a weapon? You're still wearing your armor. You're saying that there's some danger that's happening.
Magistrate made me toss it in the chasm. Stupid. Going to have to improvise now.
Alright, let's talk about
If we
something
have
else. I'm just gonna ask everyone, do you know a way out? Can I escape?
If I did, do you think we'd be having this conversation?
Fair. What do you think about the Golden Rule?
I'll tell you this much. I hate the fact that my survival depends on the common sense of other people.
Okay, I know the feeling. I've lived through a pandemic.
Then you know what I'm talking about. I mean, all these people just bumble along like nothing's wrong. Well, we're one bad decision away from being wiped out. Like the last lot of people who lived here. Seems like I'm the only one ready for what's coming. Whatever that is. And when it hits, it's everyone for themselves. You've been warned.
What do you think is coming? And yeah, it's really interesting if you look into the history of things like how people have sort of reacted to things like pandemics, including the Black Plague. Human behavior doesn't change that much over time. We do see a lot of changes in culture, in perceptions, in laws and legalities, but the core of human behavior is oddly consistent. Maybe I can find a game that would allow me to talk about some of that stuff. Alright, so what do you think is coming?
I don't know. But did you ever get the feeling some of these statues are watching us when we're not looking? Like they're waiting for something. I don't like it.
It is very spooky. I think you're right. They're a little unsettling.
Of course I am.
Okay, Who are you going to vote for?
Meliodas. Not sure I trust Sentius. Couldn't even protect his daughter in a city without sin. How's he going to protect us?
Okay. Can I change anything?
No.
Well, that was a very definitive answer. Alright.
Whatever.
Okay, so, I'm gonna stop the stream here. I will plan to do more of this. I am taking a couple of weeks off. Oh, yeah. It's true. I could do something that breaks the golden rule and just have this entire place be overtaken, and turn everyone into golden statues. And technically, yeah, you could threaten people with that in this case. Everyone's afraid, although it seems like some people don't quite buy it, because we have Malleolus, who is running for the position of magistrate, who wants to basically just change the entire fabric of this society and walk away from the golden rule, which makes it sound like not everyone quite believes in the consistent threat that's present. So we're gonna stop here. Off for 2 weeks. I will be back on this, and I'll plan a couple more of these just because it is really cool to see all of the historical elements of this. Again, they did bring in historians as consultants for this game, so there's a lot of history imbued here, in very cool and interesting ways. So, hold on. Let me get back to our protocols and our wrap-up. So, if you enjoy SASA's live events, such as Archaeogaming, which is what this is, any book clubs that SASA puts on, reading groups, please consider becoming a supporter of SASA with a recurring monthly donation. For as little as $3 a month, you can help us save ancient studies, and you can also subscribe on Twitch for free through your Amazon account. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll plan to explore ancient Rome a little bit more after I take a bit of a break. Happy holidays, everyone, and I will see you again soon. Thank you.